Welcome back. Today's review comes to you from the house of Arquiste. Arquiste is a US based house and they have several fragrances that I had heard of before this one. This one is called Le Trogue. This decant was very generously sent to me by a subscriber and I really appreciate that, along with another Arquiste fragrance that I will review later on. Le Trogue, I believe, is the Hebrew word for citrus. So this fragrance has, just before I get into the review, I just want to talk about one of the notes that is listed here for Le Trogue. It's a note of citron, and I actually, up until trying this fragrance, didn't really look into what citron was, but apparently it is one of the three original citrus fruits that all citrus fruits that you can buy and eat now were hybridized from. So citron looks like a deformed lemon basically, but it's mainly made up of the white pithy flesh instead of the nice juicy flesh like you would get out of a lemon. And to me, if it is the dominant note in this fragrance in the opening, it's along with other citruses, but essentially it leans on the lemon side of the citrus spectrum. But it also brings to it a bit of a sweetness as well. Citron, I think, smelling this is probably more commonly used in things like room fresheners, some cleaning products, scented cleaning products that say citrus, and essentially what you're really smelling is citron, and it is pleasant. It doesn't quite smell like a fresh lemon. It has almost this kind of limoncello vibe about it, and this is mainly what I'm smelling in the opening of Arquiste Le Trogue. I have to say, I really, really enjoy this opening. It's one of the most uplifting, fresher citrus openings I've experienced in perfumes. It really took me by surprise because I knew nothing about this fragrance. So I was coming to it with no preconceptions, no expectations. And when I wore it, and the first time I wore it was on a couple of quite hot, humid days, and I was just so pleasantly surprised. I remember I actually for some reason, have a vivid memory of walking out of work one day to head home, and it was a warm afternoon, and I could smell this. I'd only recently sprayed it, and it just really put a smile on my face, and I got to thinking about other fragrances that have citron as a note listed, and then you can do searches in things like Fragrantica and Base Notes and Parfumo. And one notable one happens to be the new version of Eau Sauvage Parfum by Dior, which is this one here, and it does have a similarity. It does share that citrus opening in the beginning. Just that's how I can link that the two are actually using a citron note. Here's the thing: when it starts to dry down after a few minutes, it turns from citrus fruit to a sweeter style fruitiness. It's almost like the citrus evolves into something a little bit sweeter. I don't want to say it is apple, but like it's that kind of apple sweetness, like a red apple as opposed to a more tart green apple. I don't think apple is listed as a note in here, but it does get sweeter. So it goes from tart citrus to sweet fruit, and then essentially I get some vague woodiness. And at this point, because that citrus is hanging around to some extent, I am very much reminded of citrus-scented, lemon-scented floor polishing. This is not a bad thing. but it's just simply what it reminds me of, and I can't help but get that imagery out of my head. Very freshly cleaned, citrus polished floors, because there is this vague woodiness. At the end, in the deep dry down, I basically get the faintest of a clean kind of vetiver note there. Nothing earthy, more on the woody side. But here's my problem. This, I just sprayed some here, but I did have a dry down on this arm. I'm lucky if I'm able to smell it after a couple of hours. I think it works better sprayed on clothes, so it might be my skin. I did spray some on this sleeve. No, it's probably not lasting any longer on clothes as well. I would have no hesitation respraying a scent like this if I really like how it smells. I'll say that. If it's only going to last a couple of hours, I'd have no hesitation respraying just to get that opening again. But the kicker is that these particular bottles go for just under $200 US for a 100 ml bottle, which is not crazy expensive, but I would recommend having a big think about whether you think that's worth it if you are having to respray. But if you only use this, I would probably only find myself using this in the summer. So there is that. The bottle would still probably last you quite a bit of time, especially if you're rotating with a bunch of other summer favorites. But just bear that in mind. It is quite expensive for what it is and for how long it lasts. But I do actually like the smell of Le Trogue by Arquiste. And I don't really have much more to say about it. I'll leave the information here about the breakup of men to women who own this fragrance according to the small sample size on Parfumo. But Arquiste from the US, this is Le Trogue. Thank you again for joining me and watching the review, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.